we're going to classify these triangles. Classify each triangle by its angles and sides. Base your decision on the actual lengths of the sides and the measures of the angles. So on all of these, we either have marks made or we've given angle measures. And that's really all you need. Notice how this one angle is bigger than 90. That makes the triangle obtuse. Also, we have two angles that match. If two angles match, then two sides match. That would make the triangle isosceles. So you can call it obtuse isosceles or isosceles obtuse. This is not the only obtuse isosceles triangle in the world. There are many other examples where you just change this angle measure, still make it bigger than 90, then make sure these two fill in but are the same. So number 2, this is also an obtuse triangle because you have one angle that's bigger than 90. These other two angles do not match. If all of the angles are different, then that means all the side lengths are different. So it's scalene. Number 3, I see a right angle, so it's a right triangle. Two of these angles are the same, so it's isosceles. This is the only right isosceles triangle in the world, 45, 45, 90. We didn't talk about this one, but obviously there's many obtuse scalene triangles. Make sure that's bigger than 90. Make sure they're all different. Number 4, all of the angles are less than 90, so the triangle is acute. Two of the angles match, so it's isosceles. Number 5, you have a right angle, so it's a right triangle, and they're all different, all the measures. So if all the angles are different, then all the sides are different. Right scalene. Number 6, they don't give us any measures, but they give us these marks. These marks indicate that these sides are congruent. If the sides are congruent, then the angles are congruent. That's an equilateral triangle. Also, we don't know these measures because they're not given, but we can calculate them. If all three angles are the same and you have 180 degrees in a triangle, remember each angle is 60. So it's also acute. Every equilateral triangle in the world is going to be acute because of that reason. It's impossible to have an equilateral obtuse triangle or an equilateral right triangle. Okay, so we'll do a couple of these as well just because of the marks. Okay, so two congruent sides, two congruent angles. That means the triangle is isosceles. Also, you can easily see that each of these angles is acute. This triangle, none of the sides are marked congruent, so I'm going to say it's scalene. This angle right here is definitely obtuse. If you're not sure how to figure out whether an angle is obtuse or not, you could use the corner of a paper. The corner of a paper is 90 degrees, so if I would slip this angle, or this corner of the paper into this angle, notice how the angle is way bigger than the corner of the paper. That's how it's obtuse. We'll look at these ones also. This is a right triangle because you have a right angle. None of the sides are marked congruent, so we're going to call it scalene. Number 16, none of the sides are marked congruent, so we'll call it scalene. Also, all of the angles appear to be acute. They're skinnier angles. If you put your corner of the paper inside that angle, it would cover it up. Number 17, two sides are congruent, so it's isosceles. this angle is obtuse. This is a right triangle because of the mark, and it's also isosceles because we have two angles that are the same.